Hello and welcome back to the fourth and final module of Instagram for Business 2.0. Let's dive right in. So module number 4 is all about pay to play. It's about being really strategic and really targeted with our paid content. Now, this is just going to give you a little bit of an advantage to make sure that you're getting your content seen by exactly who you want it to be seen by, and maybe giving you a little bit of an edge up to grow your following, especially if you're just starting out on this platform. So why should you consider paying to promote your content? Okay. So organic content means that there's no money behind it and that it's just going to be seen by potentially the people that follow you. But we know that our organic reach is declining. And these platforms, these social media platforms, are not necessarily showing your organic content to even every single one of your followers. So that can be really frustrating, especially as a business that is just starting out on this platform. So paying to promote our content has a few different benefits. Number one is that it can amplify your reach. So it can increase your organic reach by just spreading your brand awareness. You're going to reach new people. It's going to introduce your brand to these new people and hopefully ultimately grow your audience. So this can be a really great way to grow your followers, and a little bit more, it's still an organic way to grow them because you are going to choose exactly who you want to see your content, which brings us to number 2. You can target the exact audience that you want to see a specific piece of content. You can be strategic about this and get your content in front of people that you think would engage with it or find value from it based on location, age, gender, interests, and even a few behaviors. And then you can also direct traffic exactly where you want it to go. Promoting a post is going to allow you to have a clickable call to action, something that you can't necessarily have on an Instagram feed post. It's a huge win. If you choose to have it as a story placement, you get that swipe up. And usually this is only for brands and accounts that have over 10,000 followers. But if you pay to promote a post and you choose story as a placement, you have that swipe up and you can send people directly to your website or your profile, depending on the goal, the objective that you choose. So how do we go about this? It's quite simple. Now, for the purpose of this, we are looking at how to boost an Instagram post directly from the Instagram platform. If you're a little bit more advanced, you can be doing this from Facebook Business Manager, but we save that for our full Facebook advertising course in our certificate program. So for this purpose, we're looking at how we would just do a quick boost within the Instagram app directly. So promoted posts, the first things that we have to figure out are the destination and the call to action that we want. So the first step would be to go to the post that you want to promote. And if you actually go to that post, you're going to see a little blue button in the bottom right-hand corner that says promote. You click on that simply, and it takes you to this first page right in the middle here. And the first step is going to be choosing where to send people. Do you want to send them to your profile, to your website, or do you want to encourage them to send you a direct message, a DM? So that therefore your call to action is going to be send message. Usually I find that most businesses will choose the middle one, to send people to their website, because we want to drive traffic there 9 times out of 10. So for this purpose, for this example, we chose this one, website. So once you click on that, it's going to ask you to add your URL as well as your action button, that call to action that you want people to do as a result of interacting and seeing this post, this promoted post. So choose the website that you want it to go to, whether or not it's your homepage or maybe a specific page on your website. And then your action button, you get to choose out of these selections. So whether it's learn more, shop now, sign up, whatever it is, you can choose whichever one makes the most sense for that particular piece of content. So then your next step, once you've chosen your destination and your call to action, it's going to be to choose your location, your age, and your gender of your audience. So now we're targeting. Now we're being really specific and strategic when it comes to the audience that we want to see this particular piece of content. So we're going to start to define our audience. So the first step is going to give you 3 different options here. This first one often doesn't apply. This is if you have special requirements. If you're advertising about credit or housing or employment, social issues, you're going to have to choose that one. Most of us can skip over that one. And you have 2 different options. You can choose an automatic audience, and Instagram is going to target people who are like your followers. But if you don't have a lot of followers, if you're just starting out, you're not going to have very much luck with that. So I always say create your own. I always like to manually enter our targeting audience so that we can be really specific with who is going to see this piece of content. So I always say create our own. So once you say create your own, it's going to pop up this middle screen right here. And the first step that it's going to ask for is the location. Where are these people living? Is it local, or is it going to be a little bit more regional based on city and province and country? Usually it's going to be a bit more regional. So maybe you're choosing a few cities or even just one city, depending on where you're located and where your products and services are offered. So for this example, I just chose Calgary, Canada. So if you type in Calgary, it's going to populate that for you. You click on Calgary, it's going to save that. As soon as you have something selected here, it's going to tell you your potential people reached, okay? So then when we come over to the next page, once you select your location, it's going to tell you that you have 560,000 potential people within your audience. And it's going to tell you whether it's a poor, great, or awesome audience size. You always want to try and be in the middle for sure, great or even better. So then you're going to be choosing the age and your gender of those people within the location that you've chosen. And so as you move your age and as you choose male, female, or both, this number is going to change. It's going to get bigger or smaller depending on what you're doing. The bigger the age range, the greater the audience is going to be. If you have both genders selected, the greater the audience is going to be, and so on. But if you are a business that is only geared towards male or only geared towards female, of course, you could unselect one of those accordingly. So the next part of our audience definition is choosing their interests and their behaviors. So again, pay attention to this top number, and you can see how it changes based on the interests that we're going to be putting in here. So for this example, I started with small business, knowing that small business owners are interested in our courses and our programs. So when you type in a keyword, it's going to give you a bunch of different options, which is great. It's going to prompt you with suggestions that might work for you. So I want to for sure click on small business. So I selected that first one. So even just by selecting one interest, it went from 560,000 potential reached all the way down to 190,000. Still in that green, still great, but we want to try and bump it up a little bit further than that. Instagram is going to be smart enough. It's going to give you suggested interests just based on that one. Small and medium enterprises, entrepreneurship, home business, self-employment. So I went ahead and I selected each and every one of those. And then I did a few more keywords just based on my own knowledge of what people might be interested in. And then it boosted the audience potential size up to 390,000. When I'm happy with that, what that looks like, I click on done and it gives me a quick overview. I've got you name your audience, Calgary, small biz owners, male and female, 25 to 45. Location was Calgary only. And here are all the interests that we settled on. And then of course, it just again gives you your age and gender. I like to name my audience really specifically so that when it saves it, I know that I could go back to that audience for another boost if I want to target this exact same audience. So then the next step is figuring out your budget and your duration. So once you have your audience selected, it's going to prompt you to choose your budget, how much you want to spend, and how long you want to promote the post for. So it's always going to default you, usually it defaults me to 30 days over 5 or 6 days. And again, pay attention to these numbers right here. It's going to give you an estimated reach if that's what your budget and your duration is. So on average, it might reach 2,600 to 6,900 people. But $30 is a little bit too spendy for me, and I don't want to spend that much on this one post. And this is going to depend on your overall total promotional budget that you have for the month, how many posts you want to promote to figure out how much you want to be spending on each post that you're boosting. So I recommend starting small. Start with just a $5 or $10 per post budget and see what happens. If you see really awesome results, you can always bump it up from there. So I toggled my budget down to $2 daily, and I moved it from 6 days to 5 days because I didn't want it going over a weekend. I just wanted it promoted from Monday to Friday. So then for $10 over 5 days, it's a $2 daily budget. It will tell you if your budget is too small. If I'd moved this down to $1 daily, it might not have allowed me to do so. So you have to play around with that. And then I know that it's going to reach less people. I might only reach 870 up to 2,300. So you can see the difference right here, but you get to play around with what works for you. And I just suggest starting small, seeing the results, and then going from there. So then the last step when it comes to promoting a post is review and preview, okay? So you're going to review your promotion. It's going to give you the destination that you've chosen, your call to action, sign up, the audience. This is going to say whatever you chose to name it. That's what it's going to come up there. Your budget and duration, a reminder, $10 over 5 days. Your payment, if you don't have a credit card associated yet, it's going to prompt you to add that information in. And then you can also preview your promotion. So if you click on preview, it's going to open up the 3 different places that your potential promoted post could appear: your feed, your stories, and the explore page. So then you can click on each one to see what it's going to look like. Your feed and your explore, it's going to look very similar to what a regular feed post looks like. So I clicked on stories to see what this post is going to look like in a stories promotion. And it looks pretty good. It was a square image, but they've kind of made, a similar sort of background for it. And then the caption comes up as text right on the actual story graphic. It looks not bad. It even gives you the little bit of a more link. And then that would open up to give you the remaining part of the caption that's not showing up. And then, like I said, it's got the call to action, sign up, and that swipe up. So it has that clickable call to action right there on your story. And you've probably noticed them. It comes up right below your account name or the username when you're looking at stories as sponsored. So a lot of times you click through them, you ignore them, but every once in a while there is a sponsored post or a sponsored story that catches your attention. And you do click on the call to action and you're taken to their website and you learn a little bit more. I know I've been guilty of it, and I've certainly bought a product or signed up for something based on a promoted post on Instagram. So then last but not least, I don't want you to stop there. I do want you to take a look at how your promoted post performs, because there's no point of spending the money if we don't know if it's worthwhile, if it's working. So once your post runs its course, once the duration runs out, whether it was 5 days, 7 days, whatever you chose, I want you to go and look at the performance of it. So if you go into your insights, you can take a look at all of your promoted posts, okay? So if you find the promoted post sections from your main menu on your profile, you go up to those 3 bars, and then you're gonna see an area for promoted posts. If you click on that, it's gonna open up all of your promoted insights, promotion insights, they call it. So then you can click on the post in question, and you are gonna get taken to this page right here. So we want to pay attention to these numbers up at the top. These are your vanity metrics, but they're still important to pay attention to. Of course, we've got the hearts. That's how many likes the post got, how many comments it got. And then this little badge here is how many saves it got, if people saved it to a collection or saved it for later, okay? We've got our interaction section. So these are the engagements. There were 110 promotion clicks from this promoted post. Awesome. That means the objective, we can tell here, was visit profile. It wasn't being sent to a website. It was to visit profile. So there were 110 clicks to visit profile, and it even tells us that 100% of those clicks came from this promotion. We only had one person visit the website from this post. So that means they would have got to the profile and then actually clicked on the URL in your bio to be taken to the website. However, it says 0% was from the promotion. So that would have happened organically. So we would have liked to see this a little bit higher, but knowing that the objective we chose, the goal at the very beginning of setting up that boost, would have been to view profile or visit profile, not to visit the website. So that's going to make a difference. The next section here is your discovery. So this is going to tell you your reach and your impressions. So we can tell that we reached about 12,600 people, and 99% weren't following us, and 98% came from our promotion. So we know that if we hadn't promoted this post, not very many people would have been reached, would have seen it at all. So we reached a lot more people because of this promotion than had we just left this to be organic. Our impressions, the total number of eyeballs on this post, were 22,000. So almost double. So we do know that people were seeing it almost 2 times, but that's okay. Sometimes it takes someone seeing something 7 times before they make a purchase decision. And 75% of those impressions were from the promotion. So it gives you a bunch of information right here that you can pay attention to. How many follows we got? 3 new followers because of this one promotion. Awesome. The spend was a little bit higher on this one. It was $30, and it did spend 100% of your $30 budget. Now, the last area is your audience, and this is going to give you a little bit more information about the audience reached because of this promoted post. It's going to break down the gender. It's going to tell you how many men versus how many women saw this post, 60 versus 40 for this example. Then if you swipe, you can see the 3 dots at the bottom. So if you swipe through, the next one is age range, and it's going to tell you the difference in age range. So this one, we would have targeted 25 to 55-year-olds. And you can see here that the majority of people who interacted and saw this post were actually 25 to 34. So this tells us that the younger audience is more engaged by this content than the older audience is. So maybe for the next boost that we do, the next promotion, we're going to target 25 to 35-year-olds, and maybe we don't target 35 plus. Awesome. And then last but not least, this one, the location that we chose was Italy. And we chose the country, but then it breaks it down by city. And so that you can see which city interacted and saw this post more than the others. So again, we can see that Campania was the number 1, then Sicilia was number 2. So then again, that's telling us something. Maybe for a future boost, we just focus on those 2 towns and cities and choose to spend our money just targeting them because they were the most engaged with this one. And we can see here that the majority were men. This is a pretty even split, so I would still target both male and female. But if one was drastically higher than the other, maybe for the next boost, you want to just focus it to male or just focus it to female. So really pay attention to these promotion insights, see what you can garner from them so that you can make adjustments and evolve your future promotional posts. So that leads you to your workbook exercise. The final exercise, number 6, it's a monthly boosted post planner. So let's take a look at what that is. So first and foremost, you got to figure out how many number of monthly posts you're going to have. So what's the total number of posts that you're committing to on Instagram? Let's say that it's 20 posts. And then if you know that you have a monthly boost budget of $100, how much do you want to spend approximately on each post? Let's say it's that $10 mark. Okay. So if you have 20 posts and $100 budget, do you want to boost every single one? You could for $5, but maybe you want to do $10 per post. So let's say you want to do $10 per post. Then you know that you're going to boost 10 of your posts out of the total number of 20 posts. So it doesn't matter what that looks like. This is just your way of kind of breaking down how much you plan to spend per post based on what your total monthly budget is. And then again, this will just give you an idea as a way to kind of keep track of what you're planning on boosting, the date that you're going to post it, the date that you're going to boost it, how long you're boosting it for, the budget, your target audience so that you could vary your audiences accordingly. Maybe you're cycling through 3 or 4 different target audiences for those boosted posts so that you're not targeting the same audience over and over again. And then a quick recap of what those boost results were. How did your promotion perform? Pay attention to that so that you can be evolving and making changes from there. So your final reminders for using Instagram for business in this 2.0 course would be keeping in mind that video content reigns supreme. It is highly engaging. It performs better than almost any other type of content. And Instagram lends itself so well to video content because of the new features and just it has so many different video features available. It has stories, it has IGTV, Reels, Live. There's so many different options. And of course, you can still be posting video in the feed itself. So really think about that and try and double down on your video content and think about the different features that you can be using accordingly. Pay attention to what content performs well and what content doesn't. Look at your insights on a monthly basis. What content is resonating with your audience and what content do you need to tweak or maybe scrap altogether? Think about the why and make sure that you're constantly evolving. It's a bit of an ego check, absolutely, but you have to look at your analytics and then really think about the why. Why did that content perform well? Why did that content not perform well? And then keep in mind that boosting, it doesn't have to break the bank. You can start with that $5 or $10 per post budget, see what happens, see what type of results you get. And if you see some beneficial results, then you can always increase your budget from there. So thank you so much for tuning in to this lab in the 360 series, Instagram for Business 2.0. I've had so much fun with you. I hope to see you again soon in a future lab. And the next lab in this series will be email marketing, where you can learn all about how to get most bang for your buck when it comes to those email newsletters that you're sending out, maybe on a monthly or even weekly basis. I'll see you again real soon.